Ralph.
Like this 08 car at Scott Lynch, it's really a research and development program for the Gone Racing organization, which of course includes Steve Park's Craftsman truck team. What they've been doing with this team is not just developing drivers, but especially crew members. In fact, this past season, Scott lost 4 guys off of this crew, including his crew chief, to Park's truck team. Most of the guys on this team are just teenagers. In fact, the average age is between 19 and 20 years of age. They have a lot of fun on the road, but of course, it causes some problems on where they can go after the races.
And the program's working, Ralph, because Park got a top 5 today at Darlington in the Craftsman Truck Series race.
Well, all the teams want young kids, though. They all used to want to have experienced people. Now they want folks that are too young to get in the pits, it seems.
Kelly Moore trying to hold off Joey McCarthy. That is 4th place. Moore 47, McCarthy 64.
Both from NASCAR's North Series.
McCarthy, early in his career, drove a car sponsored by Rent-A-Wreck. And often he did. But he has developed into quite a fine driver. Jim?
With a different team last year, Joey McCarthy led from the pole the first 100 laps of the inaugural showdown. On the invert, he was put back to 8th. He only advanced 1 spot. Matter of fact, he only finished 7th in that race, but he knew how to lead those laps. I'm just wondering if he has more in this car, but is worried about the invert and getting stuck behind 6 other good cars.
Well, if I was playing the numbers game, 5th would be a pretty good number. Or 6th, depending on where he falls. We don't know what the invert number will be. That's to be determined at the break 12 laps from now. Now there's Austin Cameron, last year's winner. Is he playing the numbers game in 6th place?
You know, there's a lot of people who've been trying to figure this thing out, and they don't know what the numbers are. One of the numbers could be 0, one of the numbers could be 10, 20, 6, 4. No one has any idea except NASCAR, and they have kept that as a very tightly locked secret, because Mike and I, we've tried to find out what those numbers are. They won't tell us.
Well, the only thing we know for sure is that one of the numbers is 6. That's the number Danny Sullivan turned around for the Elite Division invert.
10 more. 10 to go. This is that last break.
10 to go. Matt Kovaluk is closing up
About 4 or 5 back.
on Austin Cameron. He's 4 or 5 car lengths back, you heard the spotter say. Jim?
Matt Kovaluk is on fire. The car had a rear brake problem all last night in the qualifying effort, so they didn't really get a good gauge on the handling of the car. They started back at 26th, the Mohegan Sun Chevy. They are flying through because of the changes they made, and they don't have any brake problems to speak of yet tonight.
Busch North Series will celebrate their championship banquet along with the NASCAR Featherlight Modifieds at Mohegan Sun in December, 1 week after the Nextel Cup banquet, or 2 weeks after that.
Kovaluk also had trouble with the rear gears in his car. He broke the spur gears in that quick change rear end.
There's the Johnson Lumber, number 96. They purchased a lot of their equipment from Jack Roush, and Mike Johnson has done very well with it.
Yes, he has. He's run on the North Series for 5 years, and he has won at least 1 race in every one of those 5 years, including this one.
And when he started on the circuit, he was one of the very few Fords there. Now there are more.
Funny how that works. You win some races, and everybody wants to run what you've got.
Brett Thompson is in 9th place. He started 4th. Still hanging on to a top 10 spot here as we are 6 laps to go to the break. The deuce is a lap down. That's Mike David. And the 99 of Brian Chu flirted with a top 10 spot and currently holds on to 10th in the Stay Right Pump Chevy.
Started in 14th position tonight.
I think he was up about as high as 7th or 8th at one point during these 100 laps. He's got a big gap on Brian Hoare, who is the 11th place car. Eddie McDonald is 12th. Woods, Olson, and Dragon the top 15. But David Gilliland has had things pretty much his own way. He and Andy Santerre, the only 2 drivers to lead in this 100 laps. Santerre led 10 laps before rear end problems took him out. Now Joey McCarthy in 64, this car ran 12 of the 13 races, everywhere except Dover. It ran short tracks, it ran New Hampshire, it ran the road courses. This is one all-purpose race car. He battles Scott Lynch.
Kelly Moore right behind that battle, watching as we close in. on the caution flag. That'll give these guys a 10-minute break to adjust the cars, work on them, do anything they want to them except change the engine. Of course, they won't have time to change the engine anyway in 10 minutes, but those are the rules. Anything you want to do but that.
1 lap to go. And then the yellow flag will fly after they complete 100 laps, and they'll get 10 minutes to work things out. Kerry Earnhardt in the 20. He's trying to stay on the lead lap. So is Mike Duncan. Duncan does. Earnhardt doesn't. Caution is out. Boy, Mike Duncan just avoided a very difficult fate because all the restarts from here on out have lapped cars to the rear.
And if you're starting in the back of the pack, there is no way you're going to have a good finish tonight. And every time that caution flag flies from here on, the lap cars are in the backyard.
So we complete the first 100 laps with 4 cars out of the race. Busch North champions Santerre and Stefanik, along with West Series drivers DeFazio and Gaylord, out of the race. That leaves us 26 in contention for the win. 21 of those drivers are being scored on the lead lap.
Gilliland with a near 2-second lead when that caution flag came out for the break.
And excuse me, let's make that 16 lead lap drivers all the way down.
Jack up the left rotor. Chain comes loose. Take your time. Get it ready. Okay. Just catch your hands.
Well, one thing we didn't see tonight compared to last night was a lot of cars, Dick, looking really loose off the corner.
Yeah, looking a lot more stable, but they've had today to work on it. They've all been talking with each other. The West drivers talking to each other. The North drivers talking to each other as well.
Pits will open this time by, and once the last car comes to rest, the 10-minute clock starts running. We still have 50 green flag laps of racing to go here at Irwindale. Earlier tonight, Eric Holmes won the AutoZone Elite Division 125 lap feature over Rip Michaels, Bernie Lamar, Craig Rodman, and Eric Darnell. Right now, David Gilliland leading Ryan Moore, Scott Lynch, Joey McCarthy, and Kelly Moore as they come to pit road. Ralph and Jim will have updates and stories as we go along through this break. Then we'll come back out for 50 laps.
10 minutes is all they have to do what they're going to do. Get these cars dialed in.
Now the crews are being held behind the wall until all the cars come to rest. So nobody gets more than the allotted 10 minutes.
Cars sitting on pit road. You can believe those crews are just dying to get at their race cars.
All right, Bob Dragon is the last car to come into position. The clock starts. We go to Ralph.
Well, David Gilliland is down here. He just pulled to a stop, and he's unbuckling himself. I spoke to his crew chief, Doug George, a former tour racer himself, who says this car is just a little bit snug. They don't want to do a whole lot to it, but just free it up a touch. The helmet comes off. The crew goes to work on the number 88, and they're getting busy with this thing because they don't have a lot of time. All right, David, how good is this car? You've had no problems holding everybody up so far. Is it going to be strong enough to win tonight?
We sure hope so, man. What an awesome night, boy. Car's really good. I got to thank all my sponsors, racecarfans.com, Honda Cars of Corona, Meropolis Racing Engines, my crew chief, Mike Nake, really had this thing set up good. And I hope I'm going to Monday to go test for Roush, so hopefully he's watching, and hopefully this will do something for us. We got a good car, and hopefully we can pull off a win tonight. I feel really confident, and car's strong.
It sounds good. Jim.
I'm down here with Ryan Moore, who's applying some of this fancy aeronautical tape to his right rear heel, or his right heel, excuse me, on his right foot. Now Ryan, the right foot's out, but man, you were hot on the racetrack coming up from 19th. Talk about your run.
Yeah, you know, the car's going real good. We made some changes last night just to try some stuff. Didn't work out, so we put it back where we had it. I just want to thank the whole crew that worked hard. Everyone down at DEI. Only complaint I got is these shoes, man. My foot's burning up, but we got some tape on it. I'm ready to rock that 88 cars quick, but I'm hungry, man. I'm going to go get them.
Ryan, you got the bang doors with your dad, perhaps one of the final times, at least out this far west. Talk about the run you had tonight against your dad. Was that a little grin and move on kind of deal for you?
Yeah, it was cool, man. It's always a good time racing with him, especially when we're racing hard like that. We're both hungry racers, and we both want that position, so it's a lot of fun.
Your crew chief, Jamie Lorfano, said, I asked, what are you going to change? He said, nothing. How good is this race car?
Car's real good. You know, the 88 had the advantage, didn't have to use his tires up like I did to come all the way from the back. This thing's a hot rod, man. It's been fast all weekend. We're going to go get him if we can.
Bolting on 4 brand new Goodyear's, guys. He should be fun to watch.
Now, who else have we seen in a flat black helmet recently? How about Martin Truex Jr.? How about Dale Jr.?
Yeah.
It's a DEI thing, I think.
Seems to be. They all run well.
And that's where Ryan is going next year to run 7 Busch races. So here's how they're running after 100 laps. Hard to say who wins the team prize, but well, I don't know. A lot of red, a lot of blue in that top 10. Gilliland, Moore, McCarthy, Lynch, and Moore. The top 5. The defending champ of the race, Austin Cameron, Kovaluk, Thompson, Johnson, and Chu.
See the smile on David Gilliland's face when that interview ended? He knows he's got a good race car.
6 North drivers, 4 West in the top 10. 5 more North drivers in the top 20. Each team has 2 DNFs, so the team score for that bonus is going to be very close.
Boy, it is. Look at how mixed up this is with red and blue. Goodness.
16 cars on the lead lap. We'll run 50 green flag laps when we come back. We'll find out how many cars get inverted and whether Busch North or NASCAR West wins the team prize bonus. In tonight's second annual Toyota All-Star Showdown, we're in the 10-minute competition break. Jim Trado.
Guys, I'm now with Joey McCarthy. We mentioned before he led the first 100 laps last year. Now he's positioned in the catbird seat, sitting in the invert position. As Joey, you're sitting 4th. Is that by choice?
Well, I'll tell you, this Trim Spot Chevy's been running really good. We have a really good car, and we put ourselves in a position to go for the win on this last 50 laps. So this whole Trim Spot team's been working well, and we'll see what we got for them.
Now, Joey, it's a different team, a different effort. You brought a new sponsor on board. The big question is, what do you have for the 88?
Well, I'll tell you, he's really quick. I think we're going to need an entire green flag run. Hopefully he'll wear his tires down. I seem to get better during the long green, so hopefully we'll get that and put this Trim Spot Chevy in victory lane.
If the invert number is 4, McCarthy will restart from the pole. If it's 6, Austin Cameron gets the pole. If it's 8, Mike Johnson. If it's 10, Brian Chu. If it's 12, Eddie McDonald will restart first. Let's see how many we invert.
All right, you guys, it is now time to find out what the invert is going to be for the last portion of the Grand National race here. We've got one of our favorite fans here to help me out. Please welcome Mr. Bud Hill. How are you doing, Bud?
Very good. Great tonight.
All right, so we've got 3 beautiful ladies over here. We've got Tara, Marnie, and Genevieve. So which one are you going to choose? And we're going to unveil her poster.
Well, if you're out there as the fans, I'm going to pick the one to the right. This one right here to my right.
That would be Genevieve. Is that a fan favorite? You got it. All right, Genevieve, help me take this off. Let's see what the number is. And the number is 8. That's the invert.
Wow.
That's the way that
Mike Johnson and Matt Kovaluk go to the front row.
Hey, Bud, don't go by Gilliland's car.
Well, they're celebrating in Massachusetts right about now.
Let me see what that does. That puts the 96 of Mike Johnson, Busch North.
And let's have a look at the team standings, which I think had to be very close. Not that close. The Busch North scored 1,945 points in the first 100 laps, and so they will get the big share of the bonus money. When we come back, Mike Johnson and Matt Kovaluk ahead of Austin Cameron and Kelly Moore, McCarthy, Lynch, Ryan Moore, and Gilliland.